auxiliary?
Pumps are gone. The electrical's gone.
The core?
I didn't go in there and I won't. I think it's time we
No, we have to get water into the core, otherwise there'll be a meltdown. We have to open the valves.
Sasha.
What do you want, Boris? If it's true, then we're dead. 1 million people are dead. Is that what you need to hear? We have to open the valves by hand.
By hand. And the number of valves, the amount of time to turn. You're talking about hours in there.
And help us.
Help you do what? Pump water into a ditch. There's nothing there.
What you said about if it's true, then what, we're all dead, millions of people are dead. So you deny the truth because the reality of the truth is so horrific? But how is denying it going to do anything? I can't believe they're going.
Watch the panel while we're gone.
It's not working.
Just watch it.
Do you think I would keep it in Pripyat if it wasn't safe?
I mean, if you're stupid or in denial.
Is glowing.
The Cherenkov effect. Completely normal phenomenon, can happen with minimal radiation.
Oh my god, one sane voice and he's being shouted over.
For prey to fear. That our faith in Soviet socialism will always be rewarded.
Alright, this is going to be another bullshit speech about how they shouldn't do anything.
tells us the situation here is not dangerous. Have faith, comrades.
Called it!
The state tells us it wants to prevent a panic. Listen well.
Yes, just blindly listen to authority.
It's true. When the people see the police, they will be afraid. But it is my
This show is making me
experience
very angry.
that when the people ask questions that are not in their own best interest, they should simply be told to keep their minds on their labor and leave matters of the state to the state. We seal off the city. No one leaves. And cut the phone lines.
Oh my god.
Contain the spread of misinformation.
So let's just condemn
That
more
is
people.
how we keep the people from undermining the fruits of their own labor.
Trap them in a toxic wasteland.
Yes, comrades. We will all be rewarded for what we do here tonight.
I know there's people here just nodding and
This is our moment.
find this reassuring and comforting so you can go back into your little spiral of denial.
It's typical.
It is what Moscow does. Sends us shit equipment and wonders why things go wrong.
We found another dosimeter from the military fire department. It only goes to 200 Rontgen, but it's better than the small ones. And? It maxed out. 200 Rontgen. What game are you playing?
Game.
No, I asked him. He took multiple measurements. He's my best man.
It's another faulty meter. You're wasting our time.
I checked the meter against the control.
What's wrong with you? How'd you get that number from feed water leaking from a blown tank?
You don't.
You don't.
And what the fuck are you talking about?
I walked around the exterior of Building 4. I think there's graphite on the ground in the rubble.
You didn't see graphite?
There is.
I did.
You didn't. You didn't! Because it's not there! What? To reactor Building 4. I'll see it with my own eyes.
People.
I apologize.
You not consider this as a negative sign? I mean,
What?
Go to the van block roof and report back what you see.
No, I won't do that.
you definitely should not.
Of course you will.
Do not do it. Do not let these petty bureaucrats order you to die.
Fine. You'll see. Come on.
Why don't you go yourself? You're supposedly a nuclear engineer.
There's nothing to be sorry for. I told you, we did nothing wrong. But we did.
I can't believe you had him go there with a kind of like an armed escort. Like, so what, you would have had him shot otherwise? That probably would have been better. He knew exactly what was going to happen to him. He knew. This stupid moron.
System tank. And the core?
We ordered them to continuously pump water.
Yes, I see. Any contamination?
This is mine. The plant manager, Berg-Maas, is reporting 3.6 Rontgen per hour.
That's actually significant. You should evacuate the
You're
surrounding.
an expert on RBMK reactors, correct?
Yes, I've studied it.
General Secretary Gorbachev has appointed a committee to manage the accident. You're on it. We'll convene at 2 this afternoon.
Late. Forgive me, but don't you think, given the amount of radiation, that it would be...
Legato, you're on this committee to answer direct questions about the function of an RBMK reactor, if they should happen to arise. Nothing else. Certainly not policy. Do you understand?
Yes, of course. I didn't mean to...
And see, and someone with actual expertise in this area thinks that the thing that everyone that kept writing off as not great but not bad is actually extremely serious, and we know that it is substantially worse than that. Still down there. And there goes the toxic clouds. But of course none of those people are able to leave because they decided to basically lock down the surrounding areas. Alright, well, that was episode 1 of Chernobyl. And as I'm sure you could tell, that episode had me feeling very frustrated and upset very, very frequently. I'll start off before I actually get into the content itself and what we saw happening, just by saying that so far with just the first episode, it seems like this series is very well done. The acting seems top of the line, and even with the fact that I'm not really familiar with a lot of the actors that we've seen so far. Jared Harris, obviously, though he really wasn't in it that much this episode, it seemed like this was very much focused on the actual events as they were happening in the moment, right as the explosion was happening and right afterwards. So if he's coming in later, he wasn't really present that much here, except for at, like I said, the beginning, which again is interesting to see his suicide knowing. So everything we see from him from this point out, we're going to know how he ends up. But yeah, but I thought that the acting from everyone else was good, even when they were incredibly frustrating to me. Oh my god. You could see going through this, it's not clear what actually caused the reactor to explode, and you see everyone that has any sort of expertise is suggesting that that shouldn't even be possible, and they're all shocked. So this is a question of what happened, exactly what happened, why. You saw the two guys at the end down there in the pump room, and there was the insinuation that maybe they did something wrong and some sort of human error. But regardless of the fact, everyone is seemingly saying that this can't explode, but it did explode. It did. That's the reality of the situation. But because of the fact that technically they all think it shouldn't happen, everyone is in this sort of state of denial where they refuse to face the reality that's right in front of them. So you have people literally coming up to you with radiation burns on their faces and their hands saying, "I've seen that the core has exploded," and everyone's saying, "Oh no, that's not possible. You did not. They're saying, "Oh, he's delusional," because they've been told that this can't happen, so they're just accepting that this can't happen. That what they're seeing with their own eyes, experiencing themselves, hearing first-person accounts from their own colleagues, they refuse to believe to be true because higher authority figures in the past have said that this can't ever occur. And I think it's interesting if you think of this as in terms of, the Soviet Union or various other historical instances of societies and cultures where you've had, extreme authoritarian hierarchies, the likes of which that they had there, where reality, such as it is, and what can actually be verified and seen, and proven using actual machinery. So they are able to say, okay, well, this one tested out at the top of what it could possibly be for, what is it? They said Roentgen, for as high as it could possibly be. So even that sort of information, they're going to try and come up with a reason for why that must be wrong, that can't be true, because of the belief that what authority figures have told you, there's instilled into you from a young age the idea that what authority figures say is just the case. That it's just true, you don't question it, you go along, you comply. That's what a good and moral comrade or member of the society does. So when you have actual evidence of a crisis in front of you, when the authority says, no, it's not actually a crisis, there's, I guess, almost like an instinct to accept that you must be wrong, your eyes must be wrong. And we saw that over and over again throughout this episode where, you had actual employees there who were saying, they could see around them that this seemed to be that the core had exploded. There was a horrific situation, but they're saying, Dyatlov said it can't possibly be that. So we keep going to look. And you can tell that they have doubt, that they're not sure, that they suspect that this has in fact exploded because of everything that their eyes are telling them, their ears, their bodies, it's screaming at them that this is the case. But despite the internal conflict that you can see being waged in all of them, almost everyone that we saw this episode in the end complied and refused to accept what they themselves knew over what they were told by authority figures. And the couple of times that we saw people stand up against that, there was extreme pushback. I mean, we saw the one engineer who basically was like, no, and I'm not going up there because I know what has happened. And they basically just force him up there under guard so that he can end up dying like everyone else too. And I don't think that it's just because those people were stupid. I mean, there's obviously some incompetence there, but you could see even the people in positions of authority there are refusing to accept that what they take as authority could possibly be wrong. It's fascinating but disturbing. Just like some of the other things I mentioned, fascinating but disturbing, the fact that such little tiny things that have to do with the system that they're a part of and the general, I guess, insular nature of it and incompetence and inability to question that incompetence, the smallest things that come out of that can lead to huge disaster. So the fact that they have poor quality radiation testers to begin with is ridiculous. That's so nonsensical that they would have poor, low quality ones that are barely of any use, and then they have one good one, but it's locked away and only one person knows where the key is, and then that one doesn't necessarily even work that well either. That one fact is something that is going to make it so they don't realize the truth of the situation. They don't have anything to kind of even confirm what's going on. They don't have anything that they can even rely on, like a piece of machinery given to them by the state, so they have to just choose whether to believe their own eyes or what the state has told them is possible or not, because they don't have that machinery. And so what happens? They call in the day crew, they call in the firefighters are there on the ground, and now all these other people are going to die of radiation poisoning, people who did not need to. And maybe that wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for the fact that they just didn't have the right quality of equipment there for actually testing it. The same thing is in the hospital. How can you be a hospital next to a nuclear power station and not have iodine tablets? You just think that it's impossible that something like this could ever happen, or not even in this extreme, but that there could be just an accident with some workers there, that they might be exposed to radiation and need some sort of treatment. The fact that that's not there, like I was saying, these small things that are hugely consequential, and I think overall are indicative of the sort of system that they're living under at the time. So I think it's really fascinating to watch. It's infuriating to watch, but I mean, I'm curious to see what happens next, in a kind of dreading curiosity sort of way. But so far it seems to be very well made, I have to say, but I can tell this series is going to continue to make me very angry. But like I said, is fascinating. So alright, I think I'm going to wrap it up here for today. If you have any questions, comments for me, anything you want to discuss, please do leave them down below. And other than that, I'll just say thank you very much for joining me, and hopefully I'll see you next time for episode 2. Bye.